Let's continue down this trend of mentoring companions, I think. I like the idea of being able to bump up their experience meters for a bit. Some of these people ain't got so much. Yeah, this new character, you've only... Are you even rank 2 yet? You're not. Fine then. Let us chat together for a spell. Sit down with Pamitha to go over some of the subtler aspects of the rites, such as the state of banishment and how to return from it. You sense she is beginning to understand. Well, Tamitha, soon I'll be catching up with you at this, whether or not you like it. You get to level up, and I get to look at 2 entire new skill trees again. Alright, Wings of the Matriarch, Rites, Masteries enhancing a harp's swiftness and mobility. When Triesta Tithys led her people to the mountains, they begin to train themselves in new ways to survive. While flying, Pamitha moves faster than normal. Okay. Shrike Dash. Pamitha can use her dash ability in rapid succession for less stamina. After saluting her adversaries, Pamitha instantly switches places with her nearest ally. That's interesting. Can she do that while having the ball? Pamitha permanently gains 8 quickness, making her move much faster. So it's just an entire tree about mobility, which is interesting. This is Ways of the High Wing, Rites, Masteries enhancing a harp's aggressive capabilities. The High Wing were nearly destroyed after Saint Triesta left them. Those who remained grew strong. For 5 seconds after banishing an adversary, Pamitha moves 30% faster than usual. While casting her aura, Pamitha can trigger an aura blast that banishes nearby adversaries. So that's a same thing that I think that's what the Cur has, right? If Pamitha's banished while Winged Fury effect is active, she returns twice as quickly as usual. Is that this one? So if she's actively in combat and actively defeating enemies, then she'll be returned quickly. Pamitha permanently gains 4 to quickness, Presence Hope, making her better all around. Okay, so both those are tempting. She's the one character I think in the game so far that flat out has a final skill that gives her better stats. So basically, do you want a significant bonus to her speed, like a significant bonus to her speed, or do you want to make her do a little bit more damage to the enemy base and a little bit more aura size, make her an all-around better character, or do you want to go fully heavy into speed? I could totally go either way on this. All the fast stuff here is very exciting, especially the +8 to quickness, but +4 is almost as good and also makes her better in every other way. And this rewards you for attacking enemies, because the attack will lead to everyone exploding, and also being aggressive rewards you with being able to respond fast. I think I'm gonna go down this tree. I was so in favor of the first tree while I was reading it, but the second one actually might have trumped it a little bit for me. It is a strange sensation, to be sure, though it gives to you a moment to reflect. The 2 there felt slightly out of place, but that's probably just me. There we go. So another character got to level up. I believe everyone's at least got their first skill now. Leveling up characters is probably going to come in handy because we're on our way to potentially rescuing one person, and that's kind of a problem if I choose to, like, free one of my favorite characters or something like that, or who knows what I'll base the decision on. We need the other characters to be able to pick up the slack of any gaps left there. Mount Elodiel. Volfred states that your ascent of Mount Elodiel shall begin here. The game kind of stopped looking edible. Here before you lies Mount Elodiel, stretching far beyond your line of sight. Somewhere upon this mountain lies the only place from which you can escape the downside. Your companions gather round before Volfred, who stands tall as ever. Whether from the cold air or the subject now at hand, you sense a tension in the air. Now then, You all have many questions, no? I've done a lot of talking, so go on, ask away. But there's only silence. One question stands out in your mind, which you refrain from asking yet. If only one of you is to go free at first, who shall it be? Go on now, don't be shy. Who first? Questions. Why us? Why you indeed, madame. That I can explain. You've seen the sort you stand against as adversaries in the rites. What is it that they want, do you suppose? They want their freedom back, of course. They'll settle for it on the Commonwealth's own terms. They'll gain their freedom and some cushy new responsibilities. Perhaps then they'll have a hand in sending still more exiles here to join us. Think on it. The Commonwealth rose from the ashes of a fallen empire thanks to the efforts of the first exiles who escaped this place via the rites. It is the Commonwealth's first and proudest tradition to honor those who live to redeem their transgressions. They have certain wisdom, do they not? But as for you, I have been looking for a certain set of dispositions for a good length of time. All I needed was for somebody appropriate to show up and to listen. So I planted my little eyes and ears throughout this land, whispering hints of this, absurd as it may sound. Took someone with a certain faith and creativity to go for it. That someone proved to be Hedwin over there. He was tasked with seeking two trustworthy allies, an old buried wagon and a reader. He was invited to bring others for the ride, all different sorts. Gathered enough help, and he and his friends could go free. Long story, but you know much of the rest. So then why you? Because I've reason to believe you're not the sort to play right back into the Commonwealth's old hand. The rites, as you have seen, are quite exclusive. You are imposters in this little party. You could be the ones to break it up. Now then, more questions. Your head is beginning to spin. You can excuse yourself or keep listening. Always keep listening. Never stop listening. This is important. Your fellow exile's freedom seems to hinge on Volfred's plan. You ought to consider his every word. Volfred's explanations are a lot to take in, though you feel compelled to absorb as much as he is willing to tell you at this point. He prompts for further questions when Jodariel raises her voice again. Hold. You mistook my meaning. I understand your plan. Still, I wish to know, why us? Why are we, among all others, chosen for this liberation rite? On a blooded moon at the fall of Solium, an exile from the prevailing triumvirate shall go free. An anointed champion then shall plunge into the Shimmer Pool and return in glory, the Book of Rites. The Shimmer Pool? There's like a literal, baptism rebirth symbology thing going on here? Ah, I see. But that is simple, really, madam. You are chosen. You are qualified, I should say, because, as the expression goes, 'tis what the scribes ordain, though in this case the expression is quite literally true. When the Eight created the rites, each one of us anointed certain other exiles to participate on their behalf, exiles who showed some promise of redemption. The triumvirates they formed have stood the test of time, replenishing their numbers as individuals move on or passed on. You've met them as they are today, the accusers, the withdrawn, and so on. The 8 scribes also formed a special group, against which all the others would be judged. That group they called the Nightwings. You bear their books, wear their masks and raiments. You need but show up to the rites, you see. The others erstwhile jockey for position for a chance to take you on. Yeah, well, what if we don't? What if we don't show up? Then you would deny yourself a chance at freedom and deny it also to your adversaries. Victory means nothing in a common rite, then. Participation is all that matters? Not so, madame. Only the enlightened may regain their freedom. While failure can be an excellent teacher, the scribes do favor the victor. So you see, those who do not conduct the rites, or do not prevail in them sufficiently, they may find themselves barred from the liberation rites. But there are technicalities. The Nightwings disbanded years ago. Since then, no one has gone free. Yet still, the other triumvirates passed on. with fleeting hope that one day you'd be back. It's been a heavy price to pay in all this. Now, if you'll excuse me, we'll talk again some other time. Well, now you know why. Particularly the older guy that had a son, the Kerr, why he was so like just honored to meet the Nightwings and so happy that this was here, and even in failure, because like suddenly the thing that allows them to do the rites in the first place is back, and that's, even if you lose, that's a gargantuan victory compared to what might have been generations without them, which is a huge problem. I do have one question though, because it seems like the my issue here, I'm a little unsure about. It's about an earlier topic, is just that it seems like the point of exiles that they're supposed to be not a way back, and that the rites and the way that they get to come back seems to be essentially something that is a secret that normal society doesn't know about in the Commonwealth. It seems like that's what they were saying before, and yet somebody comes back every time they finish this thing, which hasn't happened for a while, but is a thing that can happen. How do they keep it a secret if a demon comes back? Didn't they explain that demons were exiled? Weren't they humans when they were exiled, and they turned into that when they got here, and when they spent a long time here? That's what I'm uncertain about, is that seemed to be what was going on, and unfortunately I'm relying on a lot of one-sentence explanations, because there's a lot of these topics were stuff that was covered by a singular sentence at some point, and then never expanded upon, so I don't know how the details interact in some cases, and this is one of them, of like, how do you keep the rites a secret if a demon comes back, since demons were, like, seem to be, as far as I can tell, explicitly from exile? Some murmur to themselves about all this as Volfred takes his leave. Others recounter the pathways leading up the mountain and present you with some options. What are my options? The Emperor's Ascent and the Emperor's Fall. Well, that's... I mean, one of them is more encouraging than the other one, by name. A gap through the nameless lower summits beneath Mount Aleodel. Faye believes that 8 scribes will bless you, whoever goes through here. Emperor's Fall. Pathway on the outskirts of Mount Aleodel, nameless lower summits. Pamela expects some long-lost valuables to be stashed here. I am more in favor of getting valuables than blessings, just because... I'm not entirely sure, but I think blessings might just increase your stats during the next thing. Whereas getting money lets you buy permanent item upgrades, basically every other variation of possible loot or upgrade and so on, is a more permanent change than a brief increase you get for one round that frankly hasn't been that big. Like, wow, I lost 1 hope. Oh no, what a disaster. It's like 1 hope is like I take 0.2 longer seconds to respawn. Like, it can make a difference, but it's not as dramatic as potentially getting a whole new item or something. So goes my reasoning. I feel like you could practically go the rest of your life with your computer just being a series of wallpapers of landscapes from this game. And other shots. You join Pamatha on her brief expedition to find anything of value dropped by those who tried to scale the mountain but did not succeed. Wait, I shall be joining you. What now, I get 2 chaperones? But sure, I'm game. Whatever you wingless are into. Be silent, little bird, and fetch those trinkets and be done. My, so full of bitterness. You really ought to make the most of these last precious moments that we share. And you ought to not mince your words. Oh, please, we all know you're going to be the first one out of here, so why not quit your constant frowning for a change? I, the first out of here? Of course, it's plain the others pity you. You've been here longer than the rest of us by far. Besides, maybe that Volfred... besides maybe that Volfred, though, he seems plenty happy here, making his speeches. How dare you? How dare you presume? Nothing is decided as of yet. Oh, no doubt, though if by some coincidence you do end up selected for the honor, I just want you to know something. I truly, from the bottom of my heart, do hope we shall prevail on your behalf. Because, that way, you shall be free Of me, at least, and I, in turn, shan't have to suffer any more of your hideous attitude towards me and everything. At that, you intervene. Jadariel's eyes burn with fury, but then she calms herself. I shall see you at the wagon, reader. Why'd you come, Jadariel? I will also come. Stop talking, person I've chosen to accompany. I'm like, what? You really walked into this one on your own, kind of. Like, Pamela does not help, but Jadariel is so actively causing some of the problems for some reason. Not for some reason, obviously I know that the issue she has with the winged ones. Pamela scoffs as Jadariel storms off. I swear that one. Well, moving on. There's something sparkling down there. Be right back. She swoops out of sight, leaving you alone there on the mountain, where you were executed by assassins. Oh, no. Pamela soon returns with something that lay long forgotten in the rocks below. Another tooth! Everything is a tooth or a horn. It's not. I'm not against the aesthetic, but it's gonna take some work to keep track of them. Titan's Tooth. After blocking airborne adversaries, the bearer briefly stuns them and knocks them back. Ooh, that's fun. So if you block people with X when they're flying, then you have an extra penalty that you can use. You have the Temple High Road and Temple Cistern. Temple High Road, first of two paths leading to the mountain summit. Headwind expressed a passing whim to see the view from here. Temple Cistern, second of two paths leading to the mountain summit. Sir Gilman wishes to look upon the sacred waters here. So two people want to go sightseeing, basically. Part of me wants to give Headwind a chance, because Headwind kind of seems like a likely candidate for person to let go free. I think he's already high enough level, probably. I don't know, if anyone's high enough level, he probably is, because I think the core group already is across the board. You have the part where Jadariel, I think, specifically wants Headwind to go free, because she seems very specifically protective of him, so she probably would give him priority the same way like Kenny would give his kid priority in Walking Dead and the games and stuff like that. And there's also the suggestion that we're supposed to try to like lead some kind of rebellion or revolution on the other side. Headwind's the one that brought us all together. Headwind's the one that led us here, but now this group has a number of leaders, or at least between my character and the other reader, neither of which can leave. We're pretty much the de facto long-term leaders of the group at this point. So he doesn't need to lead this group anymore, but he might be a good leader on the other side as we slowly start bleeding characters over to help, hopefully. I have no idea. One question is, I just don't know how many characters you get to even send over, and that's a strange feeling. Like, I have no idea. Are some of these people doomed? Do I have to pick which ones? But this might be a way to give the character some closure if I do send him over. Gilman seems somewhat less likely as being the first person of the entire group I would free. You and Headwind walk in silence for some time as he conducts a customary survey of the area. Well, my friend, no sign of howlers, as Jody would say. No sign of anything at all. You sense something is troubling him. Oh, that. It's just... I've been giving lots of thought to everything Volfred's told us. In another couple of days, one of us may be gone all of a sudden. Or... I don't mean to put it that way. One of us could go free. We earn our way back, one by one, as he said. I want you to know something. The others and I, we talked it over, and when the time comes, we want you to decide. Decide who gets to go, if anyone. This might be all part of Volfred's plan, but we got here thanks to you. And even though I'm worrying right now about us splitting up, I guess if Volfred has his way, all of us will meet up on the other side. And won't that be a day? Worst case, we keep failing the rites and being stuck down here together just like this. Two of you walk on in silence for a time. When at last you return to the wagon, Headwind turns to you again. Thanks for the company. I think I'm better now. Headwind feels more prepared for the next ride. Hooray! Hope likewise for the best. So, this is actually a decent reason, I think, to prioritize the tutelage option when you get those three options there. you get, because like our Enlightenment is very clearly, they've said that Enlightenment is what determines whether or not you can go over. We've also been very explicitly given this Enlightenment meter that goes up when you win and lose, and taking part at all makes it go up, but winning makes it go up more. But you can manually raise it whenever you get that option where you get to pick one of the three. That might be a way of circumventing any losses or underused characters so that everyone gets a chance to go free, but we don't know how many opportunities there will be either to do the training or to even pick people to go free. Hey, we got Enlightenment apparently. Weird. I assumed he'd get like stats or something. Is this hope? That's just me. That's just my bonus spirit. Weird. Yeah, he just straight up gained Enlightenment, didn't he? Huh. Okay. You and your companions gather at Scribesgate, where the little, narrow trail to the summit narrows even more and falls under an archway carved of stone. Come along now, everyone, and be prepared to speak your mind when you are called. Frankly, most of you still lack Enlightenment, but we may pass together. How we act as with a single heart and mind during the rites. Well then, lead on, Tariq. Please, follow me. Removing his hat, the lone minstrel approaches the gate. You and all others follow. When the last of your companions nears the arch, you notice someone standing high above, who then appears before you. She eyes the lone minstrel first. Is that you, Tariq? It is. Greetings, Celeste. She watches over Scribesgate and seems to be connected to the lone minstrel and the rites. And how was your rest? Too long, Celeste. It seems your work is piled up in the meantime. You bring this many to the gate? How was your rest? Is that talking about the period the Nightwings were gone? Is that how long has he been around this whole time? How does death work in this game, by the way? I don't know if we've established how aging works and whether or not that's even like a thing. I don't know how long some characters have lived or if certain characters age more or less than other ones. We haven't had the Mass Effect breakdown of like, the Solarians lived for 40 years and Asari lived for 1 billion trillion years and all that stuff. So, I don't know yet. Aye. Then let us make this quick. She gestures towards the rest of you. Now, each of you in turn, state who you are and what you seek while crossing Scribesgate. Do as she says, please, without questioning. Your fellow exiles exchange glasses, but quickly comply. I'll start. They call me Hedwyn the Deserter. I've come here seeking freedom for myself and my companions. In my case, so I can return to be with the one whom I love, the Deserter. That's interesting. It didn't add to his character sheet yet, but that gives away. We're starting to learn why people are here, because that's been one of the unknowns that's been waiting. The woman bids him forward. The lone minstrel prompts Rookie to speak up next. I am regarded by the name of Rookie Greentail. I just want to get out of here, I guess. With my chums, preferably. Go see Mama back home. I am Captain Jodariel. I do not truly know as yet what I am seeking here. Oh? My name is Faye, and I am here, I think, because the scribes have called to me. It must be them, because if not, then who? Tizo seeks to live up to the Nightwing's legacy, and maybe see the Commonwealth someday. Wait, is Tizo even exiled? I genuinely don't know. Is Tizo exiled or not? Like, because I think all of the references to like previous jobs or why they're exiled and stuff like that, I think they were all like non-applicable, right? In his character sheet, he's like the exception. Couldn't someone just take Tizo if they wanted? Also, speaking of characters that should or shouldn't go, like Jodariel seems like lower priority compared to Hedwyn because I think she herself wants that. But also, like, I don't know if Faye even wants to go to the Commonwealth. She might have said that in the very first conversation. I don't remember. I feel like she just wants to serve the scribes, and it might be that just taking part in the games does serve the scribes, and maybe she just wants to help a bunch of people get through, like the other reader. Sir Gilman of the Sea Dominion, at your service. This knight is on a quest to find his honor. He lost it at a certain point. in a way, him taking part in the games continuously is also kind of serving his goal of just proving himself constantly. Like, Gilman and Faye might actually be, like, career scribes. Pamatha Thane, I'm only here because my sister's here. Then as Volfred steps forward, the one called Celeste raises her voice. You, I recognize you from the Nightwings of the past. You are not clad in the raiments any longer. I would know why. I had my chance already. The Nightwings that now stand before you. I travel with them as a pilgrim now. I see. Then state why you are here, as have the others. My name is Volfred Sandalwood. I seek liberty for each of us, so that one day we all might stand shoulder to shoulder on the other side and bring our freedom to the people there. She waves him by. Then she turns to you, for there is no one left to go. I can't tell if this is a test or not. Is she literally just recording this information like as a formality, or is this like a test and can she tell when you're lying, for example? State who you are to traverse the Scribesgate. And what's really funny is we're this far in the game without even have necessarily established it, have we? You can say you're a crippled scholar. When they learned you knew the old ways, they came for you, and you could not run far. Or that you're an old farmhand. Your youth is gone, but your thirst for knowledge earned you a trip to Downside nonetheless. You are a war orphan. Years of strife between the Commonwealth and the High-Wing remnants afflicted you since birth. Or, you do not know who you are. Try as you might, you cannot make out the details of what life was like in the Commonwealth. Well, well. Crippled Scholar is fitting enough, since I've already committed. I think I've already owned up to the reading and committed to that all outright. And it explains, like, because we've explicitly said that I can't take part in the games. Like, we seem to imply that my character's not capable. Like, she can't handle being part of the games, even if there was somebody else being the reader. And my being a reader is why I'm stuck here, too. You've always sought to understand the world around you. That knowledge proved dangerous in the Commonwealth. But now, it has brought you to this point. The one called Celeste continues to examine you, expecting you to add to your response. State also what you truly seek to traverse Scribesgate. You can say you want true freedom. You wish to return to the Commonwealth and to live out your days there, doing as you please. Or you want to help your friends. You wish to do whatever it takes to see your fellow exiles regain their freedom. You want revenge. The Commonwealth, which cast you down to the downside, cannot be forgiven. You want to see what happens. All you expect is that the outcome of this whole ordeal is going to be interesting. Well, we can't say well, I was gonna say we can't say we want our freedom because we know that we can't. We know that we can't get our freedom, basically. But we could argue that we still want it regardless, even if we can't have it. Or we can talk about saving our friends, which, yeah, I'm only talking about who I can save out of people who aren't me so far. So let's say that. Let's help them regain their freedom. Your companions you have met here, who have helped you to survive, and to find kinship in the downside, your priority is to ensure that they achieve their goals. That is all you wish for now. The woman regards you for a time, then nods once and waves all of you by. The 8 scribes bid the Nightwings welcome here. Go forth with glory. Also, Tariq, and Tariq. Aye, Celeste. Be on your way as well. The lone minstrel bows his head, puts his hat back on. He does not look back at her. Somebody has a past. Ooh. We are literally at a threshold. And the final test is a giant book. Because of course it is.